And hi again, everyone. I'm Jim Knox. Welcome back to another edition of the Best Docs Network featuring Forest Park Medical Center. Forest Park Medical Center, your destination to better health. And Forest Park Medical Center, of course, is the #1 medical facility in the entire Tarrant County. We'll kick off today's show with a great doctor who operates right here out of Forest Park Medical Center. It is Dr. Kevin Doody.
I had some problems. Every time I would get pregnant, the baby would never go to the uterus where it needed to go to grow and develop. And so my doctor recommended that we would try doing the in vitro process to avoid the baby going to the tube and having it placed right in the correct location so the baby can grow and develop.
With difficulty getting pregnant due to a tubal cause, there are really two approaches that we can take. One approach that we can take is to try and repair or reconstruct the tubes to make them more functional. But in some cases, the tubes are not able to be repaired, and in that circumstance, in vitro fertilization or IVF is really the best option. And in Deborah's case, that's the path that we chose.
When I initially went to see Dr. Doody, he basically broke down exactly what the process was, and then he also let me know exactly what I needed to do in order to get it started.
The IVF process is actually a little bit complicated, and it involves taking a sequence of injectable medications over a period of a few weeks. During that time frame, there would be really numerous visits involved for the purpose of monitoring the response to the fertility medications. Our goal is to transfer 1 or 2 embryos to achieve a pregnancy, and if there are extra apparently healthy embryos, then we can freeze them and keep them stored for future pregnancies.
In, I want to say November of 2012 is when everything, the process started, the medication, the shots and everything started. And then in December, actually right before Christmas, it was when I got the news that, hey, you are now pregnant. So it was an awesome Christmas gift and a very exciting time.
Fortunately, she had a very good response to the fertility drugs, and she conceived during the first attempt, and we were fortunate enough also to get many extra embryos, so that if she desires to come back in a year or two, then she won't have to go through the whole process.
When I say Dr. Doody is an awesome guy, he really is very patient, very calm. He helps you get over the hump because you always go in, you're nervous, you don't know what to expect, but he makes you feel really at ease at doing the whole process.
I went to my youngest child's school one day for a parent-teacher meeting and was walking up and down the stairs and just exhausted. And I saw my child look back, just like, "Are you okay, Mom?" And so it was a little sad, and so I just wanted to be able to live life, be able to do things with my children and just not go through it just sad and tired and sick every day.
Lakeisha Green came to see me because she was significantly overweight and was having trouble with diabetes and high blood pressure. When I think about people who are overweight, I think about their diabetes and I think about their high blood pressure. And I think about how that shortens their life. And I think about if there's anything that you can do to get rid of those kind of problems, that's how you're really going to help someone out.
You make up in your mind that this is something you've wanted to do for a while. You think about not being sick. You think about how you're going to feel and how you're going to look afterwards. And I just made up in my mind, and I knew it was right for me to just go ahead and do it and not fear it.
There is nothing other than this kind of surgery that will fix diabetes. What it means is you take the stomach, which is an organ about this big, and you create a small stomach by physically dividing the upper portion of the stomach away from the rest of the stomach. You divide the intestines and bring up part of the intestine to that small pouch and then reconnect it farther on down. So you've changed the pathway where food goes through, and the food no longer goes through the very first part of the intestine out from the stomach. That it changes how your body works related to diabetes. That is such a wonderful thing. It impresses me all the time.
I started noticing I'm eating less, I'm weighing less. I could see it in my face, and it was just an amazing feeling to just know that in a few months, in a few weeks, I was going to be a different person, not just physically, but emotionally. And it has been great.
Best Docs Network featuring Forest Park Medical Center. Welcome to the 21st century of cutting-edge medicine. Forest Park Medical Center. For more videos and great information about Forest Park Medical Center, head to the website bestdocsnetwork.com and click on that Forest Park Medical Center tab. Right now it's time to head to our next doctor who operates right here at a beautiful Forest Park Medical Center. It's Dr. Atif Haque.
Well, I just noticed that this year in particular that I didn't have a lot of extra energy. It was like all I could do just to drag myself into work, and I got to the point where I couldn't express myself. I would try to say something. I would think the words, but I just couldn't say them.
Patricia came in with fairly vague symptoms of confusion and headache and just not feeling right.
I was talking to my daughter on the phone that afternoon, and she was just very concerned. She said, "Mom, you have got to go to the doctor and find out what's going on." And they started running some tests, and it was when they ran the CAT scan that the nurse came out and informed me that I had this brain tumor, and they were admitting me.
The difficulty of taking out a brain tumor really has to do with a couple of things. The big one is where it is in the brain and how eloquent or how important that brain is that's around it.
I mean, it's pretty scary when you don't know if it's malignant or not. And my two girls lost their father Christmas Day, this past Christmas Day, to a tumor that was inoperable, and he fought the cancer for 2 years. And I watched him go through it, and I really couldn't see myself doing that. I didn't think I would be a strong enough person to go through it. But I'm so glad that I didn't have to, and all our prayers were answered.
Patricia's tumor almost came up to the surface, and it was not in a particularly high rent place of the brain, and we were able to resect it. Today, Patricia's doing very well. I saw her just recently, and she is thrilled about how well she's doing, and she's back at work, and as best as I can tell, she doesn't have any deficits.
Immediately after my surgery, I knew my brain was functioning correctly, because my thoughts were clear. When I went to say something, it came out. And it wasn't that way before the surgery at all.
At Forest Park Medical Center, in addition to having an outstanding medical staff that provides high quality care and clinical staff that is highly skilled and knowledgeable, we place a lot of focus on our facilities. We want to ensure that when a patient and their family walks into Forest Park, we're appealing to all their senses. Therefore, when you walk into our lobby, we have a waterfall. We have a fireplace. When you take in a deep breath, you smell a scent. We have a special scent that goes through our air system. So we don't smell like your traditional hospital does. We actually are appealing to the patient's sense of smell. We go to great lengths to hire an executive chef, so therefore the patients are actually having meals provided to them as if they were in a restaurant setting. We put a great deal of attention into details such as our bed linens. We have outstanding quality when it comes to our bed linens, and our towels in our patients' rooms are actually of hotel quality. We provide our patients with a nice robe. We also provide family suites. It's a VIP room that accommodates the family, whereby the family is encouraged, if they would like to stay at the patient's side. This separate unit provides them with a microwave, a refrigerator, a flat screen TV, a pull-out king sleeper sofa, where we will actually turn down that bed for them at their request and provide them a place to sleep so they are close to their loved one. We have 54 private rooms, 10 of which are VIP suites. We have 12 fully integrated, state-of-the-art operating rooms as well. Every patient that looks out of their windows sees a rooftop garden. Forest Park also offers full-service imaging services. At Forest Park Medical Center, we combined excellence in physician quality with dynamic clinical excellence And our facility it brings all those elements together, provides an unmatched patient experience. Our patients are truly taken care of from the minute they walk in the door until the minute they leave, and that's through the people that are providing that care and the facility with which their stay is in. It's just a great experience from beginning to end.
Did you know that Forest Park Medical Centers are designed and constructed to meet or exceed the standards of the U.S. Green Building Council's Leadership in Energy Environmental Design LEED program? The purpose of LEED is to reduce energy and resource consumption, minimize environmental impact, and provide healthier, more connected buildings. Throughout the building and grounds, you will see signs which highlight Forest Park's sustainable efforts. Barbara has a question for Dr. David Kosmoski. What is the difference between a neurologist and a neurosurgeon?
They're a lot alike and they're very, very different. And so we're both dealing with problems of the nervous system. The obvious difference is that I'm dealing with the surgical problems of the nervous system and a neurologist is dealing with the non-surgical. Examples of the non-surgical problems are numerous, like Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, strokes, migraine headaches, seizure disorders. Those are all referred to neurologists. Now sometimes some of those problems, doctors send a patient to a neurologist for what they thought were migraine headaches, and ultimately the diagnosis determines that the headaches weren't from migraine headaches, but they were from a brain tumor. So we work closely, and neurologists can often refer patients to me that require surgical attention.
For more information about Forest Park Medical Center, your destination of better health, or request an appointment from one of their great doctors, head to the website bestdocsnetwork.com and click on that Forest Park Medical Center tab. Now it's time to head to our next doctor who operates right here out of Forest Park Medical Center. It is Dr. Robert Pollard.
Before I saw Dr. Pollard, I was in a lot of pain. It was a large hernia. It caused me pain when I was doing everyday activities like grocery shopping or laundry. It was so large that I had to wear overly large clothes to camouflage it, and so I didn't want to go out in public.
Hernias are the single most common malady that a general surgeon treats. A hernia is simply a hole in the muscle, a hole that should not be there. And so what occurs is the contents of your abdomen, the intestines, which are supposed to stay in your abdomen, unfortunately or can fall through the hole and create discomfort and pain because they're in a place they shouldn't be.
When I met with Dr. Pollard, he explained to me the different types of options for hernia repair and recommended open abdominal surgery. He explained the mesh, he showed me the mesh, and told me how it was going to help heal what he was going to operate on.
Unfortunately, there's not a good non-surgical treatment for hernias. Any number of wraps and straps and trusses have been tried unsuccessfully in people over the years, but the only true way to fix a hernia and take care of your symptoms is to have an operation to have that repaired.
After Dr. Pollard performed my hernia repair, my life is back to normal. I don't need assistance performing my daily activities, my clothes are fitting again, and I feel good.
When a person has a hernia operation, it's almost always an outpatient surgery. So they'll come in, they'll have the hernia repaired, they'll be discharged and go home, and usually it takes a day or two to get back on your feet and get to feeling better. They can usually be back to normal activities such as work in about a week or 10 days' time.
I'm a firm believer that your level of confidence in your doctor affects how you heal and recover. Dr. Pollard is a very personable, approachable doctor. I've had 3 surgeries with Dr. Pollard. I wouldn't go anywhere else.
When Forest Park first opened, they had the Vinci robot and have been utilizing it since they opened. It has transformed the way that we've been practicing surgery. Instead of having patients be in the hospital for 2, 3, 4 days after a major surgery, it has allowed us to be able to have the patients come in and after major surgery be able to go home the same day, possibly even going home the next day for sure. It's allowed us to be able to take large, benign growths out of patients in gynecology under general anesthesia and be able to remove them through minimal incisions less than an inch across. So this is the operative console for the Da Vinci robot. This is the viewfinder. I place my head in like this when I'm looking, and these are the two TV screens that I can see the active picture inside the patient as I'm operating. It's a 3D high-definition screens, so I'm able to see exactly what's going on without having to wear the dorky glasses that you do when you see a 3D movie at the movie theater. My controls for my hands are down here, and I put my fingers in them, and I'm able to move the levers like this, operating the instruments inside the patient's body by opening and shutting them, moving them side to side, and using my wrist to move the instruments inside the patient like this. You'll notice down here I have different foot pedals, and that allows me to operate the camera and the different angles from the camera, and then allows me to operate the different instruments, switching from one arm to the other and back from burning and cutting and all the different options that I have on all the different instruments. I can see better using the robot than I could if we had a big, huge open incision. The camera is a 3D high-definition screen that I'm looking through. So I'm seeing more than I can see if I had an open incision. We're trying to make as small incisions as possible on our surgeries because it lends to less complications and quicker recovery. And Forest Park is committed to being at the very cusp of the advancement of medicine and advancement of surgery. And they're committed to doing that with whatever technology is available.
Sammy has a question for Dr. Philip Swanson. Will I be able to go out to eat after bariatric surgery?
Yes, after bariatric surgery, people can still go out to eat. I think it's important for people to understand when they go out to eat, they're not buying food, they're buying service. So when people look at the cost of going out, the amount that you pay for food is this much out of your bill of this much. Restaurants will serve you enough for 2 to 3 people because it doesn't increase their cost here and they still make their profit here. So when you go out to eat, we want people to eat regular food after bariatric surgery. It's just that you're not going to eat as much.
Best Docs Network featuring Forest Park Medical Center. Forest Park Medical Center, extraordinary in every way. Forest Park Medical Center, of course, your destination to better health. And for more videos and more information about Forest Park Medical Center, head to the website, bestdocsnetwork.com, and click on that Forest Park Medical Center tab. Right now, it's time to head to our next doctor who operates right here out of beautiful Forest Park Medical Center. It's neurosurgeon Dr. David Kosmoski.
When I was 17, I had a really bad car accident, and that was the beginning of problems with my neck. Over the years, it continued to get worse and worse, but over the past several years, it's gotten really bad. I asked my physician, my family physician, about a neurosurgeon, and she gave me the name of Dr. Kosmoski. I was very pleased. He's got wonderful bedside manner. He is very patient, he's extremely intelligent, but he brings that conversation down to a level that I can understand.
What I found on physical exam is she had a condition called myelopathy. Myelopathy are symptoms that are caused by pressure on your spinal cord. Initially, the symptoms of pressure on your spinal cord are often misdiagnosed for arthritis because patients have difficulty moving their fingers.
I was having trouble writing by the time I'd gotten to see him, and he explained to me that the reason for that was the problem I was having in my neck.
Symptoms of pressure on your spinal cord are progressive, meaning that over time they get worse. She had tremendous pressure on her spinal cord and severe neck pain because the vertebrae in her neck were out of alignment. So much so that that condition is called instability, which is that she's at risk for injuring her spinal cord due to the weight and movements of her neck. The treatment for that is surgery to stabilize her neck, but also to remove the pressure off of her spinal cord.
The surgery was over. He came in to see me, and the first thing I remember was that my neck did not hurt. It was amazing.
She's doing great. She's back at work. For her, she just wanted her neck to feel better because it hurt so much before, and all of her neck pain's completely gone. For me, I wanted the pressure off of her spinal cord and to know that the inside of her neck is strong so that nothing moves around abnormally, and that's been accomplished.
I just feel like he's given me my life back. I feel like I am a new person. I'm able to play with my grandchildren and do the things that always hurt before without the pain. So I feel like life is good. Life is very good.
I had 2 surgical procedures at Forest Park. I had bariatric surgery in September, and I've had my back surgery in April of this year. The staff at Forest Park was cordial, respectful. The checking in process was done efficiently. There were no surprises. They had called me the evening before to remind me of what I needed to do to prepare myself. I sat in the waiting room a minimal amount of time before I was called back to begin the pre-op procedure. In both cases, I was in on one day and I was out the very next day and felt very comfortable during the process.
Just walking in, it did seem like a 5-star hotel, but we were greeted at the desk by the concierge. They gave my husband a pager and explained to him what the paging system was like. They would send him a text how I was doing in surgery, where I was at, everywhere in the hospital. He was able to see at any screen where I was. And so it gave him a great sense of comfort knowing that, you know, he was being, even though it was electronic communication, that still somebody was letting him know as I moved through the progression of the surgery area, the recovery area, back to my room. He knew. It was incredible how the staff made sure that my family was taken care of while I was being taken care of.
I felt like I was in a 6-star hotel. The service was great. The people were wonderful. I really felt that I was treated as if they really cared about me and wanted to help me and get me to start recovering quickly.
And I felt really good being there. I didn't feel like I was in a sterile environment. It just felt homey. And that was nice because, you know, when you're not feeling good, it's good to be in a place that feels like home. And it was a place that felt like home. And my husband was able to stay overnight with me.
The nurses, the staff, everyone seemed really happy and ready to help you out. Where I've been to hospitals where it just wasn't like that. The rooms at Forest Park were extremely clean. The exterior, when you first see Forest Park, it does look like a 5-star hotel. Everything about it was a good experience.
I woke up and weighed well over 300 pounds. I had always been a big guy, but I went to the doctor one day and weighed 315. Where I thought I weighed 275 and was just large, I was fat. In fact, morbidly obese. So it was time to take care of that.
There are multiple options for weight loss surgery. The most common one, who's been popular for many years, is the gastric bypass, the Roux-en-Y gastric bypass. And the last few years, it's been real popular. Has been the gastric sleeve. And in the passing, there has been a lap band. They're really the most common procedures in the United States. Gastric bypass is probably the most discussed about because it's an operation that provides for 2 tools in the weight loss. One is the restrictive part, which is the amount of food you eat. It restricts it very much to a very small amount. And then there's the part they call the bypass, which is rerouting of the intestinal tract. So it's not all the calories are absorbed. So there's a decrease in the amount of calories absorbed.
I had the gastric bypass. I had the Roux-en-Y. I didn't think there was any way that a smaller procedure than lesser procedures were going to let me lose the weight I needed to lose. I've dieted before and lost 30 pounds at a time really without too much problem. But it's the next 50 that I was never going to be able to get without surgery.
Bjorn came in to see me, and he was pretty adamant what he wanted. He had all this information, very well educated on what he wanted to do. At that time, he selected a robotic Roux-en-Y bypass. He's done very well with it. He's lost a lot of weight. So if you look at his weight loss, it's significant, but generally he looks much healthier.
I weighed 315 pounds before I had the surgery in April of 2012, and I weigh 216 pounds today, so I'm down 99 pounds 15 months later. This process has changed my life quite a bit.
The choice is really based on a medical condition and a surgical condition of someone. But they both have excellent outcomes and they have excellent follow-ups. And the lifestyle change they provide is sometimes irreplaceable. It's a great amount of satisfaction from either one of the surgeries.
So I've always had a hard time swallowing. Growing up, even as a child, had a hard time swallowing pills and so forth. As a teenager, I found out my dad had what's called Barrett syndrome. Back then, the treatments that were available were not the most, I guess, exciting would be a nice way to say it. And so that always worried me that I might have that growing up, and it always made me a little bit nervous about seeking help because I saw what my dad had to go through, and really I wasn't looking forward to that. Over the past year or so, I'd gotten to the point where I could hardly swallow anything. And when I was eating, I was only eating part of a meal and taking me longer than most people to finish the entire meal. So at some point, I finally decided that I need to go and get some help. So when I first met Dr. Abiodun, his bedside manner is great. He just makes you feel at ease and like everything's gonna be okay, he's gonna take care of you. And so there's just an immediate trust that you feel with him, which is great to have when you're dealing with something like this.
In David's situation, he has several years of acid reflux since teenager. He is now having difficulty with swallowing. While that is typical, it is suggestive of complication of this disease, which informs the decision to proceed with endoscopic evaluation even before considering medication treatment.
So during the procedure, they insert basically a cable that has a camera in it, and they can look around and see if there's any cancerous or precancerous things going on, see if there is scar tissue from the acid reflux. They can also take biopsies through that same tool and send that off to the lab to test and confirm whether there are any precancerous or cancerous situations that need to be addressed. Once they take a look, there's also a balloon that can be used to dilate the esophagus and basically stretches that out, and that's what allows me now to be able to swallow. In my case, it was so bad that I had to come back for a second treatment. Yeah, the only problem is now I've got a weight issue, so I can eat a lot more than I did, so now I have to watch out for that.
That'll wrap up another edition of the Best Docs Network featuring Forest Park Medical Center, Southlake, and Fort Worth, the top medical facility in the entire Tarrant County. And of course, Forest Park Medical Center is your destination of better health. To find out more information about Forest Park Medical Center, head to the website, bestdocsnetwork.com, and of course, click on that Forest Park Medical Center tab. If you have a question or comment for us, we'd love to hear from you. Send us an email at info@bestdocsnetwork.com. So long, everyone. We will see you next week.